So, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Teen Talks. We are in season 2 episode powered by Inertia Teens, and I'm your host, Samina Parveen. And today's episode is with the founder of Artist Morning, Darius. And I'm so happy to have you here with us today. I've been attending Artist Morning for like more than a year now, and it's such a privilege to be with you here.
Thank you, Samina. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So, could you please tell our audience a little more about yourself? What is Artist Morning and what do you do in it?
Sure. I am many things. I am a photographer. That's how I pay the bills. Um, I'm an artist, and I'm just a human that really likes connection and getting to know people, and I'm very curious. And Artist Morning is it's a community of kind, creative humans from all over the world who come together once a week on Friday mornings. Mornings for me, maybe not mornings for people around the world. And we meditate. We do some private personal journaling, and then we connect as a community. And sometimes that connection piece is my favorite part, where we get to listen to each other and celebrate each other and hear requests for help and support and laugh together, dance together, cry together, all of the above, none of the above. It really truly is a community where people care about each other, and it's usually the highlight of my week on most weeks.
Yes, that's true. It's even my one of the most favorite things I'm anticipating in a week. Like if it's a happy week, still I long for the artist mornings to share that. And if it's a very sad week, I still want to be there and
Yeah.
share. And most of the time it does like this upliftment of my mood and suddenly boost my energy for the next week. And one more thing, it took me so long to get to know that you're an photographer. I always thought you were like into arts, and I think I always thought of you like a painting person type of thing. I don't know why.
Cool. I like it. It's a compliment from me. Yeah, Artist Morning truly started out of desperation, is the truth. When COVID hit, and I had all these bookings, and all of them got, I thought, canceled, but actually just rescheduled. And I was stuck in this studio with all this equipment, and like many of us was really really scared of, like, is art finished? Like, do I have to now go work in a factory or work in a farm? Not that there's anything wrong with factories or farms, it's just I don't know how to do that. And I thought, the world doesn't need art anymore. We're going into this like really scary time. And that was the early days of COVID. And then whenever I would try to calm myself down, I would meditate in the mornings and I would journal. And for 14 days straight, something whispered in my ear, there are other people who feel lost, other people who could use some meditation, could use some journaling. And in my head, I'm like, I'm a photographer. What am I supposed to do? I don't know what, like, I'm not a meditation, like, I meditate, but I don't know how to build a meditation community. And then on the 15th day, after just being like tired of getting the same message from somewhere, I don't know where, I said, fine, I have nothing else to do. The whole world is shut down. I might as well try to make a website and see what happens. And in a single day, I made the website, got the domain, got the hosting, made a video, made my first meditation. I've never made a meditation before. And yeah, it was terrifying and exciting, and now has surprisingly become one of the best things in my life. And it's a good reminder that life is full of surprises.
I'm so glad to to know your story, and it was such a big thing. Like I know taking a risk can seem so difficult when you don't know anything about the thing you're going to try out, and that would have been very no like I don't know how to say, like very nervous yet exciting thing for you. How did you feel like when you were creating your own meditation? Was it like, did you expect these many people to join?
No. I was partially just like in the beginning, it was really scary because that voice is like, you don't know how to do this. You never studied, you never, you don't know what you're doing. Thankfully, my partner Jen, she's like a pro at this, so she gave me some early guidance. Like, if you heard the first meditation, it was not good. It was so fast, it like actually made people nervous, and her feedback was like, maybe just slow down a little. Maybe when you ask people questions, just let them in their minds answer it. And so I took her feedback and I, just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. But initially it was really scary because the other thing about Artist Morning is like I make the meditation and lots of people make a meditation and then they just put it on YouTube or whatever. Like, and then minutes later, there's 20, 30, 40 people who are listening to it and I'm watching them and feeling their reactions. And if it like, I made a mistake, I can, it felt like stand-up comedy. Like you got instant feedback, which is a good thing, It just kept getting better and better. And I found my style and my voice. And now we have like, it's over 5,000 followers on Insight Timer and 2,300 subscribers on YouTube. And I think it's over like 200,000 plays, like almost 500 people every day listen to the meditations, which blows my mind, which is so cool. I meet people from all over the world because they'll message me and tell me how much the meditation meant to them. And I'm like, this is so cool. This is a total surprise because I'm, in my head, I'm like, I'm a photographer. I'm just going to stick to what I know.
It is so mind blowing. And the thing that, really changed me was when I found other people who did the same thing, like were artists. And then I could relate to them so deeply, despite all the boundaries and despite being in another countries and other time zones, actually. It's artist evening for me. So it was so surprising that, other people understood me this well. And in Artist Morning, we have a 15-minute lounge, and it is a space which is very judgment free and gives you a supportive community and provides you space to share anything actually. And I feel that that is very powerful. And like, I had some of my most weird and interesting thoughts there. And I guess these days teens also need such kind of space. So, what is your thought on that?
I think everything is about so I think we are here to express ourselves. And I think that's a message that teens can resonate with. Like, there's something I want to say, I want to do, I want to be, I want to create, and it can be many things. Maybe society tells you it needs to be this. If you're an artist, you got to paint, or you got to be a lawyer or a doctor. And it's like, who knows? Who knows what's inside us that wants to come and express? And it can be really scary to like go into your heart, find out how you actually feel, forget about what your parents are saying, what society is saying, what your culture is saying, what social media is saying, and find your own truth and then find a way to express it is a courageous act. It's a courageous act. And that, in my opinion, needs support. It needs to be nurtured. It needs to be loved. It needs safe space to mess up and make mistakes. And some people have that because their friends, their community, their culture, their parents are like that. And some people have to find that. And it takes a little bit more work to find your people, the people that you are never too much for, the people that can be honest with you but still supportive of you, and that's a lifelong journey. It takes it's like you keep doing it, keep finding more people, because some people leave, some people come in, And so if you can find that for yourself, whatever the community is, even if it's one person, even if it's just your journal, that's a safe space for you to actually say what you feel and how you are doing. It's great because you just keep opening your channels up, your voice, your light, your energy, your visions, your music, whatever it is. So I think teens could definitely use that as they're continuing to discover who they are.
I guess that's really true because with every meditation, I feel like it's more like a journey in yourself with a bunch of other people. And I think there is this very big misconception in teenagers that, meditation is for old people and stuff I cannot relate to. Maybe if I start attending one, I wouldn't be able to express myself better because there are other people of our parents' age, or like they are not of our age. So how can you help them to clear this misconception? Because I know when I started attending, it was a little scary, but then really I got used to it, and I felt like there were so many other people who could relate to the same fear that I was facing. And it's
Yeah.
not just one thing that teenagers face. There are other people who are going through the same thing and might be able to understand what you want to say. So
Yeah.
yes.
So I think there's a lot of misconceptions around meditation. For me, meditation is similar to saying music. And it's saying, I don't like music. There's almost nobody in the world that doesn't like music. But most people like a specific style or genre or artist. And so maybe there's a meditation that people don't like. Maybe it's like, there's many different types of meditations. There's meditations where you say nothing, there's no music, and you just sit for hours. Maybe that's not the music for you. So keep exploring and looking for the right meditation style, the right meditation instructor that works for you, and know that there's no getting it right or wrong. It's just like, it's not like I like hip hop music. That's wrong. No, that's my style that I like. Maybe you like some other style of music or meditation. The things that I discovered with meditation, like if you're someone who wants to create stuff, meditation is like a secret weapon. Because for me, I access like this like God consciousness that everyone has access to, and I get the best ideas, the most profitable ideas, the most fun ideas when I can sit. And the first 10 minutes is never easy. But when you get past that 10 minutes, something starts to happen. The first 10 minutes, your like mind is all over the place. Ah! And instead of trying to like shut up mind, I say, go wherever you want. Think whatever you want. For the first 10 minutes, you're free. Go, go, go. And then when the mind gets tired, it goes, ah. And then really interesting things happen. And so, yes, it calms you. Yes, the most successful people in the world meditate. Like, look into it, Google it. You'll see the most successful people in the world meditate. Yes, there's access to joy. Yes, there's access to ideas. Yes, there's an ability to gain more power. There's just so much there. And it doesn't have to be hard. It could be really easy and gentle. You could just put your favorite music that doesn't have lyrics, that's calm in the morning, and sit for 10 minutes with your eyes open, thinking about whatever you want. And that's also meditative. There's many different styles, including walking in nature. That's a very famous style of meditation. So don't let anyone tell you you're doing meditation wrong. If it works for you, if it calms you, if you feel connected and centered, it's great.
Yes, that is true. And with meditation, I feel like, first when I started out, it was to access the secret stuff that all artists get. And then I saw that best ideas come when I am meditating. And one more thing I noticed was that first I was very much into, keeping my journal very neat, writing because I'm a writer, I was very obsessed with, making my journaling look very good. But later on, I had to learn to let go of that perfectionist in me and just, let that be a medium to express myself. I can draw, I can do whatever in my journal. And that was one thing you had mentioned, like letting your mind flow, not limiting yourself to one thing. Like you can draw while you're journaling if you feel like that. And yeah, do you want to say anything on that?
No, I think you nailed it. Yeah, like you can, again, this is my style. This is my genre. It's, you want to draw, draw. You know, you want to go into something dark, go into something dark. It's just like, it's just space and freedom. It's not like, okay, everything's beautiful, life is amazing, 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 amazing. It's like, maybe it's not. Maybe I want to feel sadness and I'm just going to let myself feel it, express it, and then it's cleared somehow, you know? Sometimes I go for walks. Sometimes I, have a pen in my hand. Sometimes I'm just sitting with nothing for 20 minutes. So it's like even 2 minutes is gonna change your energy and your brain waves. But the truth is, similar to like running, the first few minutes are the hardest. Once when I'm jogging, the first 10 minutes, I hate life. I'm like, this is the worst. I hate this. I don't want my lungs. Everything hurts. And then you hit a point after 10 minutes and you're like, this got way easier. Why did it get easier? So sometimes people quit right before something interesting is about to happen.
That is true. And one more thing you had mentioned was about the time thing. Like, meditation can be 2 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever your time availability is. And I think first when I started out, I was like, I was like a subscriber on YouTube. So I watched like 40 minutes or 20 minutes meditation. And when I started out, I was like, let's start with 5 minutes because that is something I can sit through. And then I was like, 1 hour per week for myself, that is too much like that. But once I started joining the sessions, it was like, I'm just spending 1 hour per week for myself. That is still so less compared to what I should, but something is better than nothing type of thing. And I think most teenagers feel like, oh my god, like so much time, how am I gonna sit through it? I think, like you said, they have to find the kind of meditation they enjoy, and that is a
Yes.
journey in itself.
Yes. And here's a really simple one. Just take 3 deep breaths. That's it. That's a calming, 3 deep breaths. And it's like there's a style of breathing called box breathing. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's really simple. It's just like, imagine a box has 4 sides and you inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, right? Hold at the top, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold for 4 seconds. Do that 4 times. Scientifically, physiologically, mentally, emotionally, you down regulate and you're ready. You're more grounded, you're more clear. If you're having anxiety, it's like that's also a meditation. It takes like 60 seconds to do. And, if you don't have time to do that, just take one deep breath with your eyes closed, put your hands on your heart, and you'll see how different you feel. Start there and then slowly change. It's like, it's not like I meditate for an hour every day. Sometimes I meditate for 5 minutes and that's all I have time for. Sometimes I don't meditate at all. And that happens. And I'm gentle with myself. And I realize that if I do that for a few days in a row, my whole energy is different. It's like tense, and I'm like, oh, I can't do this. And my photos I take are not as good, and my life and all aspects of it aren't as good. So it's like, I don't do this because I'm trying to be better than anyone else. I do this because I've actually seen the impact on my life. And I'm like, oh my God, it's a huge competitive advantage.
That is true. And even I have seen how that affects my entire week. And if there's something that I'm holding back, I make sure that I, get it on journal or do something about it. And one of the things that meditation has helped me with is that I think you had mentioned this in one of the meditations, is not to feel better, but to feel better, like feel your emotions more better. I think that
To
was the
yeah,
exact quote.
meditation. Yeah, it was, we're not here to feel better, we're here to get better at feeling.
Feeling.
Yeah, because it's like it's that's just not life. That's not life. That everything is great. Everything is, those type of people make me really nervous because I'm like, how are you actually feeling? Those type of people are. It's just like all the feelings are paint. Okay, all the feelings. You're a poet. All the feelings are words. Imagine I took out 50% of the words and I said, you're not allowed to use those words anymore. You're like, but I'm a poet. I want access to all of them. Maybe I won't use them, but I want access to them. Don't take them away from me. That's what it feels like as an artist. It's just like, I want access to rage. I want access to sadness. It's like a color that I'm going to pick some sadness and put it in this painting. I'm going to pick some rage. I'm going to pick some joy. I want access to all of the colors or all of the words. Where it gets tricky is when you become the color. I don't want to be rage. I want to feel it every once in a while because it can show me something. And so, yeah, so it's not about feeling better, even though sometimes that's all we want. It's about getting better at feeling and using all the words, all the colors.
Yes, and I have heard that once you start, labeling your emotions, like I am feeling sad, I am feeling happy, or something like that, you are accepting that you're feeling this and it's not going to last forever. Instead of saying, I'm just sad, I'm
Yes.
just lonely, I am feeling this, but that is going to pass. And that is very true that you had said. Like, if someone took half of my words, I would be very furious.
Right. Even if you don't use them, you'd be like, come on, I need access to them. Like, nope, you can't use these words anymore.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
so true. And I have noticed like few of the themes in your meditation, like it's not always about, yourself, but sometimes I have seen themes of ancestors, homeland. And one more thing which I really want to put here was, I remember this one statement you had mentioned was that, like when you're feeling something, this is the time, like, there are some times when something bad happens with you, and in between the whole situation you're feeling happy with something. And I remember it that you had said something like, this is time, and this is not like, you have to make the best of it, not like this is sad time, I can't feel happy, this is
Yes.
happy time, you can't feel
Yes.
sad. And if I'm right, Jen told that to you.
You're right. Yes, you are right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because again, sometimes we think binary, like these are the sad times. So I'm not allowed to feel happy now, or these are the happy times. Nope, no sadness, not allowed. But that's not how the world works. They all just intermingle sometimes. And, you know, just like there's no such thing as a bad person or a good
Yeah,
person. Those are made up things. The worst person has goodness in them, and the best person makes mistakes.
I think that was one of the things that really hit me, because before listening to that I was feeling like, oh, it's a bad time, I should feel sad, I can't feel happy. And when I was feeling happy, I always felt like, oh, this little thing made me sad and it ruined my happiness. But then I really took that and understood that, this is time, and there's nothing like sad time or happy time. This is how you make the most of it. And I have seen teenagers who do that a lot, like this is my happy day, this is my sad day, and something
Yeah,
like that. And I really felt that, listening to this line really impacted me, and I hope whoever is listening to this, it helps them as well.
I will let Jen know.
No, really, it did help me a lot in seeing certain things, in a different way than it is. And one more thing which I wanted to ask you was, how do you think that themes like this, like ancestors, homeland, talking about these stuff impact the health of teenagers, like their mental health?
Yeah. Hmm. I'm not sure how it impacts their mental health. I I I just think it's important to know
Yeah,
that, you know, like that particular meditation, we were celebrating Canada Day, who, you know, the last couple of years has become a bit of a controversial topic because, you know, there were indigenous people here whose land was taken from them. And so, you know, this is coming to the consciousness of the country recently of some terrible things that have happened. And so people were like, should we be celebrating this day or should we be mourning this day? Which is so strange because when I was growing up here, it was like a big day of celebration. And so we're all trying to figure it out. You know, again, that no, we're a good country. No, we're a bad country. No, there's no such thing as good or bad. Some big mistakes have happened, and now there's an opportunity to take ownership, you know, and fix some of those things. And my little part of that was just like recognizing and celebrating indigenous people, you know, wherever your land was, that there were people here before you and connecting to their energy. And yeah, I think it's important for us to, and I know it's a hard thing for teenage. I remember when I was a teenager, I'm like, I don't want to respect my elders, my parents, my, you know, I like, you know, you want me to respect ancestors? Those are like my great, 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 you know, like maybe I was a weird teen like that, you know, you didn't really want to think about adults and what they thought about. But I'm seeing a lot of teenagers now that are open to these conversations, and it's a good one to just remember that, you know, all of us come from somewhere, and knowing where we came from can sometimes help us understand who we are now and where we're going.
yes, that's true. And I think how it impacts teenagers is that when you're talking about these things, I have not at all seen these kind of discussions happening in school or any other place. So if it is conveyed through meditation, I would be very happy to, understand certain things much more deeply, which are not discussed around me. And I think
Yeah.
with most topics comes the stigma that no, you can't talk about that, you're still a kid to understand this, like that. But with talking about these things, we are inching one step closer to understanding them. And once you understand them, then only you can take actions when you're elder, like that, or when
Yeah.
you're older. So that is one step towards betterment of the place we live in and the world in general. So moving on to our Teen Talks question of the day, which is a question which we ask everyone who comes to our show. And it is that if you could say anything to your younger self about any myth related to mental health, what would it be and why?
Any myth?
Yeah.
Any myth related to mental health? Um, I'm not sure if it's a myth, but I know mental health, like when you're going through a hard time and that depressing energy is around, the best trick depression plays is to tell you that um you need to be alone. You know, so I would tell my younger self like it's okay to be sad, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to have all your feelings, and you don't need to be alone. There's other people, it's not just you, you know, because when you're sad and you're depressed, the trick it plays is it's just you. You're broken. There's something wrong with you. Stay away from other people, you know, and then it just gets worse. It gets worse and worse and worse. And it's like the more you talk to people, the more people are like, me too. And you're like, oh my God, it's not just me. And then you feel connected and you feel, you know, and not everyone's like that. Some people don't have the capacity to be there with you. So I would tell my younger self, you're allowed to feel all the feelings. They're, like I said, just buckets of color, and you're never alone. ever.
That is such a great thing to say, and I really understand how this mind game works. That you're not special, and the world does not revolve around you. That was something that I would say to my younger self. That, like, I used to think that way, but later on I got to know that this is my life and I am the protagonist, so I am allowed to feel the main character energy, and everything does revolve around me. Like, I am the center of it, and that is the thing which I would like to say. And lastly, what would you like to tell our audience about Inertia Teens?
To tell your audience about
Inertia Teens,
um what do you mean tell them about inertia teens?
like about us and me, like the
What would
work
I
we
like
do.
to say to your audience?
Yeah,
Life is long, and I don't like the way that the system is set up to convince teens that you need to know what you're going to do for the rest of your life as you finish high school or whatever it is. Like, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a lawyer, you got to know. I don't like that at all, because it's just so much pressure. And the reality is, like, you're just evolving. I wish people would tell teens that your 20s is a time for you to explore. Just explore. You want to be a lawyer? Try it out. You want to be an artist? Try it out. You don't need to figure anything out, because life is longer than you think. And all of those things will help you in the future. But it's hard when you think like you have to do this for the rest of your life. And if you didn't do it, then you're a failure. As opposed to, I was just like, that was my decade to play and explore and learn and travel and make mistakes, you know? And then maybe in your 30s, maybe in your 40s, who knows? You start like actually being like, this was the thing I love. Because when I was your age, I was convinced I was going to be a lawyer. I was convinced I was going to be a lawyer. I didn't know, I'd never met a lawyer in my life. I'd never been in a law office or a court in my life, but those, Law and Order shows were on, and I was like, yeah, I guess. And one teacher said like, hey, you could do this. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going to do that. And it's like the furthest thing from who I actually was. And so when that didn't work out, I felt like a failure. Whereas someone just gave me a little bit of space to be like, Darius, just go discover who you are and develop and unfold. It would have felt a lot easier.
that is so true. And in our society, we are so much, into thinking that this is something that you should do and this is not something that you should do. People make you think that way, but in the end, you're gonna remember all the things that you enjoyed doing more than you were forced to do, or like, the things that you enjoy basically. And with that, I would like to wrap up our episode. Thank you so much for being a part of Inertia Teens and our teen talks. And it was a true privilege to have you. And I really learned a lot. And I hope our audience too did learn a lot. And if you would, I'll put down the links of your meditation and your work in our description box. If anyone would like to check that out, it would be great. And would you like to say anything about your work or anything that you would like them to check out?
I just want to say thank you. I'm almost every time just like surprised and impressed by you and who you are. Like, did you say you're 100 years old? How do you know how to do these things? And like, I feel really hopeful and grateful from every interaction I have with you. And so thank you for having me on your show, and thank you to your audience for listening. And I can't wait to see where life takes us next.
That is a great way to end. And thank you so much.